Jonathan Hayes, an average Earthling in his mid-30s, never thought his life could take an interstellar turn. He was an engineer with a passion for astronomy, but his stargazing was usually confined to the backyard of his modest suburban home. That was until he received a holographic message that looked like it came straight out of a sci-fi movie. Jonathan Hayes. The message flickered into existence with a blue glow, the voice distinctly alien yet oddly familiar. It was Zorath, his friend from the Andromeda Exchange Program, a project that paired humans with alien counterparts to promote intergalactic understanding. Zorath was more than just a friend. Over their year together, they had bonded over music, science, and the loneliness of being far from home, but it had been over 5 years since they last communicated. "I regret to inform you of my demise," Zorath's image continued, his 4 eyes blinking asynchronously. "As per the traditions of my planet, Glorithar, I am entitled to pass on my possessions to someone I trust, who has shown me kindness and shared wisdom. Jonathan, I have chosen you." Stunned, Jonathan watched as the hologram detailed the bequest. It wasn't just any inheritance. It was an interstellar fortune, including mining rights on 3 asteroids, shares in a multi-system transport company, and most shockingly, Zorath's residence, which housed his beautiful alien wife, Arara. The concept of inheriting a person was abhorrent to Jonathan, a stark contrast to Earth's values and laws. Yet on Glorithar, it was a custom for partners to be part of the inheritance, to ensure they were cared for. Arara, with her luminescent skin and eyes that mirrored the cosmos, was considered a gem of Glorithar. The hologram showed her briefly, her expression unreadable, yet her posture dignified and composed. With the message complete, the hologram dissolved, and Jonathan was left in his dark living room, the weight of an entire world, or rather several, on his shoulders. The next steps were unclear. How could he possibly accept an inheritance that included a sentient being? Yet if he declined, what would become of Arara? After a restless night, Jonathan contacted the Andromeda program. They were just as surprised, but facilitated his travel to Glorithar to claim his inheritance and meet Arara in person. The journey would take him across galaxies, a path he never imagined he would tread. Days later, Jonathan stood before the quantum ship that would take him to his new life. The sleek vessel was designed for comfort and speed, equipped with artificial gravity and a stasis chamber to make the long journey bearable. As the ship hurtled through space, Jonathan spent his time learning about Glorithar's customs, laws, and economy. He discovered that Zorath was a significant figure in his community, a pioneer in asteroid mining technology. His inventions had made him wealthy, influential, and apparently very generous. The ship's AI, a polite but impersonal voice, kept him company, offering insights and preparing him for the various scenarios that awaited him on Glorithar. As they approached the planet, its vibrant colors and swirling clouds visible from the observation deck, Jonathan's anxiety mingled with a burgeoning sense of duty. He had to ensure that this venture respected both his and Arara's dignity. As Glorithar's capital city came into view, Jonathan prepared to meet the woman who was, inexplicably, now his responsibility. He planned to offer her partnership and independence, hoping to navigate this complex new chapter with respect and understanding. Landing smoothly on the surface, Jonathan took his first steps on alien soil, the gravity slightly lighter than Earth's. He was greeted by a committee of Gloritharians, their appearances as diverse as the colors of their planet. They led him to his new home, a stunning structure resembling a glass hive, shimmering under Glorithar's twin suns. As he approached, the door slid open, and there stood Arara, her figure ethereal, her gaze penetrating. This was the beginning of an unexpected journey, not just across the stars, but into the depths of culture, ethics, and emotions. The home of Zorath was a marvel of alien architecture, each room crafted to harmonize with the natural landscape of Glorithar. The walls were translucent, offering a panoramic view of the verdant jungles and crystalline lakes. As Jonathan stepped inside, his gaze met Alara's once more. She stood, not as an object of inheritance, but as the dignified widow of his late friend, her aura one of serene authority. "Welcome to your new home, Jonathan Hayes," Alara's voice was melodious, her accent thick but her Earth standard impeccable. I understand that this situation is as unusual for you as it is for me. Let us discuss how we can manage this arrangement with respect and equity. Her straightforward approach eased some of Jonathan's tension. They sat in a high-ceilinged lounge, the furniture appearing soft and inviting yet strangely geometric. As they talked, servants brought refreshments, exotic fruits, and a bubbling drink that tasted faintly of mint and copper. Arara explained the complex legal and social expectations of their situation. On Glorithar, she was technically part of his estate now, but she was also entitled to her own legal representation and could make claims for her autonomy. Her intention was clear. She wished to be seen as a partner in the administration of the estate, not as a dependent. I have no desire to undermine your autonomy, Jonathan assured her. He proposed that they operate as co-administrators of the estate, a suggestion that seemed to please her. Their conversation shifted to the broader scope of their responsibilities. The asteroids Zorath owned were not mere rocks in space. They were rich in rare minerals that powered quantum technologies across the galaxy. Their mining operations, however, were currently halted due to a dispute with a neighboring system over mining rights. As co-administrators, we would need to address this immediately, Arara noted, her tone businesslike. Zorath was in the midst of negotiations when he passed. It's a delicate matter involving interstellar diplomacy and law. Jonathan listened intently, absorbing every detail. The world of intergalactic politics was new to him, but his engineering background helped him grasp the technological aspects quickly. We also need to consider the welfare of those working on these asteroids, he added, recalling Earth's labor laws. We should ensure they're working under fair conditions and are properly compensated. Arara nodded in agreement, her eyes reflecting a sky full of stars. That aligns with Gloritharian values as well. Zorath was much respected for his fair treatment of employees. As their plans solidified, Jonathan felt a shift in their dynamic. What began as an awkward meeting of two virtually unknown entities was evolving into a partnership built on mutual respect and shared goals. The next day, armed with new knowledge and a burgeoning sense of purpose, Jonathan and Arara visited the first of the asteroids. The trip aboard a small shuttle was swift, the asteroid emerging from the darkness of space like a jewel. Workers in spacesuits waved as they docked, and the couple was escorted through the tunnels of the mining operation. The asteroid's interior was a hive of activity. Robots and humanoids worked side by side, extracting minerals that glowed with an eerie light. Jonathan was impressed by the efficiency, but he noticed the weariness in the workers' eyes. We need to implement regular rotations and improve their living quarters, he suggested as they toured the facility. Arara smiled, pleased with his insight. I agree. Let's make that our first project together. As they made their way back to Glorithar, Jonathan realized that this partnership might just work. Not only were they steering a massive enterprise through the stars, but they were also navigating the complexities of an unexpected alliance, one that might just redefine the future of both human and Gloritharian collaborations. The dispute over the asteroid mining rights escalated faster than Jonathan and Arara had anticipated. A rival faction from the neighboring system of Vexilar had sent a delegation to Glorithar to negotiate, but their demands were steep and their demeanor aggressive. Inside the sprawling conference room of their estate, Jonathan and Arara faced the Vexilarian representatives. The visitors were a stark contrast to the human and Gloritharian blend of the estate's staff, with their chitinous exoskeletons and multifaceted eyes that shimmered with a cold metallic sheen. Your claim to the C-42 asteroid is based on outdated treaties, one of the delegates clicked, his translator device converting his native trills and snaps into Earth standard. Vexilar has invested significantly in the development of that sector. We propose a 70-30 split of the mining profits in favor of Vexilar. Jonathan exchanged a glance with Arara. They had prepared for tough negotiations, but the Vexilarians' opening position was more akin to a demand for surrender than a fair proposal. Arara responded with calm precision, her voice firm. While we respect Vexilar's investments, Glorithar has legal mining rights established by the Galactic Council's directives. We are open to a more equitable distribution, but 50 to 50 inches. The room tensed as the Vexillarians conferred among themselves, their whispers a rapid series of clicks. After a moment, the lead delegate responded, "We will consider your proposal but expect concessions on your part." The negotiations dragged on for days, with each side presenting data, legal arguments, and economic projections. During breaks, Jonathan and Arara discussed strategies, growing increasingly unified in their approach. In a private moment, away from the negotiation table, Arara expressed her concerns. "We cannot afford to lose these rights, Jonathan. The economic stability of several Gloritharian communities depends on the output of these asteroids." Jonathan nodded, understanding the weight of their responsibility. "Let's prepare a final offer. We'll give them a bit more on the profits, but secure our mining rights and propose a joint research venture. Maybe offering technological exchange will sweeten the deal." Back at the negotiation table, their final proposal was laid out. The Vexillarians listened intently, their body language unreadable. After a long pause, they agreed to the joint venture and a 60-40 profit split. With the agreement signed, a wave of relief swept through the room. As the Vexillarians departed, Jonathan and Arara shared a moment of triumph. Their partnership had not only preserved Zorath's legacy, but had also forged a new path for human Gloritharian relations. Flushed with their success, they turned their attention to the next challenge, the technological upgrade of the mining facilities. Jonathan's engineering skills and Alara's knowledge of Gloritharian crystal technology would drive this phase. The first project was to implement a new energy system on the asteroids, utilizing a hybrid of human and Gloritharian technologies. This system would reduce energy consumption and increase the efficiency of the mining operations. As they worked together, their relationship deepened, anchored in mutual respect and a shared vision. The collaboration wasn't just about business. It was about building bridges between species and cultures. The completion of the energy project was celebrated with a grand unveiling. Representatives from various planets attended, witnessing the power of cooperation. The event was broadcast across galaxies, highlighting the potential for peace and prosperity through partnership. As the celebrations concluded, Jonathan and Arara stood side by side, watching the stars from the observation deck of their estate. The universe seemed a little smaller, a little more connected, and their roles within it a testament to the potential of unity and diversity. The success of the energy project was a milestone, but in the cosmos, equilibrium is often fleeting. News arrived that shook the foundation of the newfound peace. A sabotage attempt at one of the jointly operated mining asteroids. The incident, thankfully thwarted by automated security protocols, hinted at a deeper unrest within the Vexillarian faction. Arara and Jonathan convened an emergency meeting with their team, their faces illuminated by the holographic display of the asteroid's damaged sector. The air was tense, the room filled with the soft hum of the ship's life support systems. "We need to understand who is behind this and why," Arara stated, analyzing the security footage. "This act could jeopardize not only our venture, but the fragile peace we've established." Jonathan agreed, his mind racing through the implications. "Let's deploy additional security drones and set up a meeting with the Vexillarian authorities. We can't let this escalate." Their response was swift and calculated. Jonathan took charge of enhancing physical and cybersecurity across their operations, while Arara reached out to her Vexillarian counterparts, seeking assurance and cooperation in investigating the incident. The meeting with the Vexillarian authorities was held via a secure communication channel. The Vexillarians expressed their condemnation of the sabotage, but their assurances did little to dispel the suspicion that not all factions within their government supported the cooperation. "It seems we are dealing with a splinter group, discontent with the recent treaty," Arara deduced after the meeting. "We must strengthen our defenses and prepare for further incidents while keeping our diplomatic channels open." The complexity of interstellar politics was daunting, but Jonathan and Arara adapted quickly, their alliance strengthened by each challenge. They implemented a series of workshops for all personnel, focusing on security awareness and emergency protocols. Amidst the tension, a message arrived from an unexpected ally, a Vexillarian engineer named Skrill, who had worked on the joint project. Skrill offered insight into the political factions of Vexillar, suggesting that the sabotage could be linked to a radical group opposed to any form of interspecies alliances. Arara arranged for Skrill to visit Glorithar under diplomatic protection. His arrival brought a new edge to their strategy. In a secure room of their estate, Skrill shared his knowledge. "This group has gained momentum recently," Skrill explained, his voice a series of harmonic tones. "They fear that the blending of technologies and cultures will dilute Vexillarian purity." With this intelligence, Jonathan and Arara planned a dual approach. Publicly, they would continue to promote the benefits of their alliance, planning an intergalactic symposium on technological integration and peace. Privately, they intensified their investigative efforts into the radical group, aiming to expose and isolate them. Their days were consumed with meetings, security upgrades, and strategy sessions. The estate, once a quiet sanctuary, now buzzed with activity and a sense of urgency. One evening, as they reviewed the latest security updates, Arara turned to Jonathan, her expression thoughtful. "Despite these shadows, we are achieving something significant. We're not just mining asteroids, we're mining hope." Jonathan smiled, appreciating her perspective. "Let's ensure this hope reaches every corner of the galaxies involved. We might not erase all opposition, but we can outshine it with our successes." Their resolve fortified, they continued their work, not just as guardians of a vast estate, but as architects of a vision that could transform the galactic landscape. Their next steps would be critical in cementing the Alliance's legacy, a legacy of peace built on the bedrock of resilience and mutual respect. The Intergalactic Symposium was a monumental event, orchestrated to showcase the unity and potential of Jonathan and Alara's collaborative efforts. Representatives from various star systems gathered, their forms ranging from humanoid to the most exotic beings, each a testament to the diversity of the galaxy. The venue was a floating platform orbiting Glorithar, designed to accommodate the environmental needs of all attendees. Arara took the lead, her presence commanding and graceful. "Today, we stand together, not just to celebrate a partnership between Glorithar and Earth, but to set a precedent for interstellar cooperation and peace," she announced, her voice resonating through the translation devices of the assembled crowd. Jonathan followed, detailing the successes of their joint ventures, emphasizing the technological advancements that had benefited both their communities. He unveiled new mining technologies that reduced environmental impacts and increased safety for workers. The presentation included a live demo, where drones efficiently mined a mock asteroid setup for the symposium. The event was not just about presentations, it was an exchange of ideas and cultures. Booths and displays showcased technologies and cultural artifacts from different planets, promoting understanding and camaraderie among the varied species. However, beneath the surface of this diplomatic gathering, security was tighter than ever. Jonathan and Arara had received anonymous threats hinting at disruptions. The radical faction opposed to Vexillar's cooperation with other species was still a threat. As the symposium progressed, Skrill approached Jonathan with urgent news. "We've intercepted communications. The radicals are planning something today," he whispered, handing Jonathan a datapad with the intercepted messages. Jonathan's heart raced as he read the details of a planned sabotage. He immediately contacted Arara, and together they discreetly mobilized their security teams, directing them to increase surveillance and prepare for any sign of trouble. The climax of the symposium was to be a live connection with the Council of United Planets, where a peace treaty would be signed, broadcasted across galaxies. As the moment approached, the atmosphere was electric with anticipation and, for Jonathan and Arara, tension. As the treaty signing commenced, a disturbance erupted at the edge of the platform. A group of radicals had managed to infiltrate the event, their cloaks hiding explosives. Security drones swooped in, neutralizing the threat before any harm could be done. The crowd was momentarily panicked, but order was quickly restored thanks to the swift response. The foiled attack became a focal point in Alara's closing speech. "This attempt to disrupt our peace only strengthens our resolve to stand united. Today we've seen the fruits of cooperation, and we've witnessed the desperation of those who fear change. Let us move forward, not in fear, but with the courage to embrace a shared future. The treaty was signed amid a resounding chorus of support, a wave of applause rolling over the assembly. The event, though nearly marred by violence, ended as a testament to the strength and resilience of the alliance. In the aftermath, as the delegates departed, Jonathan and Arara reviewed the day. They were exhausted but uplifted by the support from the interstellar community. "We must stay vigilant," Jonathan noted, his mind already on further security improvements. "But today we've shown that peace is possible, and it's a cause worth defending." Arara nodded, her gaze fixed on the stars beyond the platform. "Today we mind hope, Jonathan. Let's keep that hope alive as we face the challenges ahead." Together they looked out at the cosmos, aware of the path they had charted, not just for themselves, but for future generations across the galaxies. Their alliance, tested and tempered by adversity, stood as a beacon of hope and cooperation. In the wake of the symposium, the impact of their success reverberated through the corridors of power across multiple star systems. News of the thwarted attack and the signing of the peace treaty was broadcast widely, serving as a potent symbol of resilience against division. The radical faction's failure became a turning point, marginalizing their influence as the broader populace embraced the promise of unity and technological advancement. Back on Glorithar, Jonathan and Arara took little time to rest, driven by a newfound momentum. They initiated several ambitious projects aimed at strengthening the infrastructure of their mining operations and expanding the exchange of knowledge and resources between Earth, Glorithar, and their allies. One of their major initiatives was the establishment of the Interstellar Cultural Exchange Foundation. The foundation aimed to foster understanding and cooperation through educational programs, cultural exchanges, and scientific collaborations. Arara chaired the foundation, her visionary leadership inspiring beings from across the galaxy to contribute their knowledge and heritage. Jonathan focused on the technological front, spearheading the development of an advanced communication network that would link their mining operations with research centers and universities on different planets. This network utilized quantum entanglement, drastically reducing the lag in communication across vast distances, a breakthrough that promised to revolutionize interstellar collaboration. As the projects gained traction, Jonathan and Arara found themselves increasingly in the public eye, their partnership hailed as a model for interspecies cooperation. However, with fame came scrutiny and the pressure to maintain the delicate balance of their growing empire. During a quiet evening in their estate, as they observed the twin suns of Glorithar setting on the horizon, Arara turned to Jonathan. "We've started something that will outlast us," she said thoughtfully. "How do we ensure it continues to grow in the right direction?" Jonathan considered her words, the weight of their responsibilities ever present. "We build strong institutions, yes, but we also need to cultivate leaders who can carry on this legacy. Leaders who share our vision of peace and progress." Nodding, Arara added, "And we keep ourselves accountable not just to each other but to all those we represent. Transparency, integrity, and compassion must be at the heart of everything we do." Their conversation laid the groundwork for a leadership academy, an institution designed to train the next generation of leaders in diplomacy, science, and ethical governance. The academy would draw students from various planets, ensuring a diverse pool of talents and perspectives. Months later, the academy opened its doors with a cohort of eager young minds from across the galaxy. The inauguration was a celebration of potential, attended by dignitaries and scholars. Jonathan and Arara addressed the new students, sharing their vision and hopes. "Our challenges are great," Jonathan told the assembly, "but the opportunities before us are greater. We stand at the threshold of a new era of galactic cooperation." As the academy flourished, so did the broader alliance. Trade agreements were strengthened, scientific endeavors bore fruit, and cultural exchanges enriched societies. The radical factions that once threatened stability became increasingly isolated, unable to sway the public against the tide of successful cooperation. Years passed, and the landscape of interstellar politics and economics transformed. Jonathan and Arara, once simply stewards of a legacy, were now architects of a new galactic order. Their partnership, built on mutual respect and shared dreams, became legendary. In their later years, they returned to the estate where it all began, their gazes often turning skyward. The cosmos, once a realm of unknowns and dangers, was now a tapestry of alliances, friendships, and shared destinies. Arara, standing beside Jonathan, summed up their journey with a gentle smile. "Look at what we've achieved together, not just for ourselves, but for all those countless voices across the stars." And as the stars twinkled above, echoing her words, the legacy of Jonathan and Arara continued to inspire and guide, a beacon across the galaxy signaling the dawn of a new era of accord and understanding.